In 2014, Sony Pictures Entertainment was gearing up for the release of The Interview, a satirical comedy starring Seth Rogen and James Franco. The film's plot centered on a fictional CIA mission to assassinate North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un. While the studio saw it as just another edgy Hollywood project, North Korea perceived it as an attack on its sovereignty. The regime publicly condemned the movie, labeling it an act of war. Tensions were high, but no one at Sony anticipated the storm that was about to hit their digital doorstep. The Guardians of Peace strike. On November 24, 2014, Sony employees arrived at work to find their computer screens taken over by a sinister image, a red skeleton accompanied by a cryptic message, hacked by GOP, warning, this is just the beginning. The Guardians of Peace, an unknown hacker group, claimed responsibility. What followed was a cascade of chaos as the group released terabytes of sensitive data, revealing Sony's deepest secrets. It was no ordinary cyber attack. It was a calculated assault with devastating implications. Secrets laid bare. The data stolen in the breach was jaw-dropping in both scale and sensitivity. Internal emails between executives revealed controversial and embarrassing conversations, including harsh critiques of Hollywood stars. Confidential employee records, social security numbers, and financial documents were also exposed. To make matters worse, the hackers leaked unreleased films such as Annie and Fury. Sony's internal operations ground to a halt as the company scrambled to contain the fallout and understand the full scope of the attack. The threat to The Interview. The Guardians of Peace delivered a menacing ultimatum. Cancel the release of The Interview or face catastrophic consequences. They intensified their threats, warning of attacks reminiscent of 9/11 on any theaters that dared to screen the film. Fearing the potential for violence and liability, major cinema chains quickly withdrew their support, leaving Sony in a precarious position. Under mounting pressure, Sony made the highly controversial decision to cancel the film's theatrical release entirely. This move ignited a fierce global debate, with critics arguing that it set a dangerous precedent by capitulating to cyber terrorism, raising serious questions about censorship, free expression, and corporate accountability. Tracing the culprits, the US government quickly attributed the Sony hack to North Korea, alleging that it was carried out by Pyongyang's elite cyber warfare unit, Bureau 121. The FBI supported this claim by identifying technical evidence, linking the malware used in the breach to tools employed in previous North Korean cyber attacks. However, North Korea denied any direct involvement, while applauding the Guardians of Peace for their actions. Despite the FBI conclusions, some cybersecurity experts raised doubts, suggesting alternative possibilities such as an insider threat or the involvement of other state actors, keeping the true origins of the attack a subject of debate. The breach left Sony reeling. Financial losses climbed into the tens of millions, with the company spending over $35 million on cybersecurity repairs and upgrades. Relationships with talent in Hollywood soured as leaked emails exposed unflattering remarks from executives. Amy Pascal, Sony Pictures co-chair, stepped down amid the controversy. The attack shattered trust within the organization and cast a shadow over its reputation for years to come, making Sony a cautionary tale in corporate cybersecurity. Sony bold move for The Interview. In response to the challenges, Sony chose a different strategy for The Interview. Rather than relying on traditional theaters, the studio released the film digitally, allowing audiences to access it on platforms like YouTube and Google Play. This decision was widely viewed as a stand for creative freedom, with many supporting Sony's choice to move forward despite the threats. Though the digital release didn't lead to major box office success, the film became a cultural symbol of perseverance, representing defiance against cyber threats and attempts to stifle free expression. Lessons in cybersecurity. The Sony hack exposed glaring vulnerabilities in corporate cybersecurity. Weak passwords, unencrypted data, and insufficient threat detection systems made Sony an easy target. Companies around the world took note, investing heavily in robust cybersecurity measures to avoid a similar fate. The attack highlighted the importance of employee training, incident response planning, and the need for advanced threat detection systems. It was a turning point that redefined how businesses approach digital security. Digital conflict in a globalized world. The Sony hack marked a shift in how global disputes unfold, bringing corporate entities into the crossfire of international tensions. By exploiting cyberspace, attackers used the breach as a tool to deliver political statements and exert pressure on their targets. For North Korea, it was seen as a response to an insult to its leadership, while globally, it exposed the fragility of digital systems. This incident illuminated the growing risks posed by cyber attacks and geopolitical conflicts, sparking calls for stronger security measures and international cooperation. The legacy of the hack. Nearly a decade later, the Sony Pictures hack remains a defining moment in cybersecurity history. It was a stark reminder that no organization, regardless of size or resources, is immune to cyber attacks. The breach forced corporations to rethink their approach to data protection and raised awareness about the need for international cooperation against cyber threats. As the digital age continues to evolve, the lessons of Sony's ordeal remain more relevant than ever, a testament to the enduring impact of the attack.